Let me tell you about the worst morning of my week, except it wasn't my morning. It was a woman named Diane standing in a grocery store parking lot in the rain, holding a phone, about to hand a tow truck company $200 and a mechanic another $500 for a problem I fixed in 90 seconds with my bare hands and nothing else. No tools, no parts, nothing. And when her car roared to life, she looked at me like I'd performed some kind of magic, but it wasn't magic. It was just knowing how to listen. And by the end of this video, you're going to know it too. Because here's what nobody tells you. You slide into your seat, coffee in hand, running a little late. You turn the key and click, 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 click. That's it. The engine doesn't roar to life. It just clicks at you, mocking you, and your stomach drops. You're stuck. And already in the back of your mind, a number is forming. The shop, the tow truck, it's your starter, that'll be $500. I want you to take a breath because I've been doing this a long time and I'm telling you the truth. Almost nobody says out loud the dead clicking car in your driveway is usually not a starter. It's usually something small, something cheap, sometimes something that costs you nothing at all to fix. And I can teach you to tell the difference in about 60 seconds using nothing but your own 2 ears. So before you call that tow truck, before you let anyone talk you into a big repair, stay with me. I'm going to show you how to read exactly what your car is telling you when it won't start and how to get it going again for cheap or for free. And stick around to the end because there's one 2-second trick. I'll show you the exact one I used on Diane that has unstranded more people than any tool in my whole box. And it doesn't cost a dime. Let me start with the most important thing you own for this. And it's not in your trunk and it's not in your glove box. It's your ears. I'm serious. After all these years, I can walk up to a car that won't start, tell the owner to turn the key, and I'll know where to look before the sound even finishes. Your car is talking to you. It's telling you exactly what's wrong. Every single time you turn that key, you've just never been taught the language. So let me teach it to you right now, sound by sound, because each one points you somewhere completely different, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Sound number one, that rapid clicking. Click, 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 fast, like a machine gun going off under your hood. This is the big one. This is the sound I hear more than any other. And here's the part that's going to save you the most money in this whole video. It is almost never your starter. I need you to burn that into your memory because this exact sound is what gets more people talked into a $500 starter they never needed than anything else. That machine gun clicking is the sound of a battery that doesn't have enough juice left in it. There's just barely enough power to make the starter try to engage over and over and over, but not enough to actually spin the engine. So it clicks at you, weak battery, dead battery, or, and this is the one that everybody misses, mechanics included, sometimes a bad connection at the battery. Hold on to that because we're coming right back to it, and that's exactly where the free fixes live. Sound number two is completely different, so listen for it. A single heavy clunk. You turn the key and get one loud clunk and then nothing, no cranking. Just that one thud in silence. That single clunk is your starter's solenoid trying to kick in, and this one can go two ways. It might be a starter that's finally worn out and reaching the end, or it might still just be a battery too weak to follow through on the job. Don't panic on this one either, and whatever you do, don't let anyone panic you into a repair yet. We're gonna sort it out together. Sound number three, pure silence. You turn the key and get absolutely nothing. No click, no dash lights, no dinging seatbelt chime. The car just sits there completely eerily dead, like the whole thing gave up overnight. I know that silence feels like the scariest one, like the car died for good. But here's the truth. Dead silence points harder at the battery and its connections than almost anything. Totally dead usually just means totally disconnected, in a sense. No power is getting through. And no power getting through is very often a cheap, fixable thing, not a dead car. And then there's sound number four, the odd one out. And this one is actually good news the second you hear it, the engine cranks. You turn the key and you hear it rrr, the engine turning over strong, spinning hard, really trying, but it just won't catch and run. Now, here's what I want you to understand about that sound, because it's a gift. If your engine is cranking like that, your battery is fine and your starter is fine. Both of them are doing their job perfectly. So right now in this moment, you can stop worrying about the starter, completely cross it off the list. That's a different problem entirely, a fuel or a spark issue, and it means the expensive thing you were dreading isn't even on the table. You see what just happened? You haven't touched a single tool, and you've already narrowed my whole car is dead panic down to one specific lane. That's the power of listening. Now let me turn those sounds into fixes cheapest first. Always cheapest first, because that's the entire game and that's the part the shop skips. If you're getting that rapid clicking, or your dash lights are dim, or the car's dead silent, we are looking straight at the battery and its connections. And this is where I want you to check the single most overlooked thing on the entire car. The thing that stranded Diane in that parking lot. Your battery terminals, pop your hood, look at the two posts on top of your battery where those two thick cables clamp down. Now look closely at them. Do you see any crusty buildup? A white, blue, or greenish powder crusted up around the posts and the clamps, almost like a scab? That right there is the enemy. That corrosion builds up and it physically blocks the electricity from flowing out of a perfectly good battery. I'm telling you, I have seen that little crust strand people with a brand new battery sitting right there under the hood. Their car was dead. The tow truck was already on the way because of something they could have wiped off with a rag. Diane's terminals were caked in it. That was the whole thing. That was the $500 emergency. So if you see that buildup, that is your prime suspect, and cleaning it costs you nothing but a few minutes of your time. Real quick, everything I teach is in one guide. Don't get fleeced. Links in the description and the pinned comment if you want it. Now, back to getting you unstranded. Here's exactly how you clean those terminals, and it's easier than you think. With the car off, engine off, key out, you're gonna loosen the nut on each clamp and pull the cables off the posts. Negative first, that's the one marked with a minus sign, then the positive. Always negative first, remember that. Now, take a look at that corrosion and go after it. Scrub the posts and scrub the inside of those clamps until they're shiny again. A cheap wire brush is perfect for this. And if you really want to neutralize the crust, a little baking soda mixed with water will fizz it right off like a science experiment. It's honestly kind of satisfying to watch. Get everything clean and bright, then reconnect the cables, positive first this time, then negative, and tighten them down good and snug. No wiggle. Now go turn that key. And I'm telling you, there is a very real chance that crusty little scab was your entire problem and you just brought a dead car back to life in your own driveway for the price of nothing. That one fix alone has saved people hundreds. Diane cried a little. I'm not even kidding. But let's say you clean those terminals up, they're spotless, and it's still clicking at you. Okay, now we test the battery itself, and the simplest way in the world to do that is a jump start. Grab another car or one of those little portable jump packs. Honestly, everybody should own one of those. They're $40 and they turn a nightmare into a non-event. Hook it up and try to start your car. And here's where it gets clever, because two things can happen and each one tells you exactly what's wrong. If it fires right up off the jump, beautiful. That tells you your battery was just dead or too weak to do the job. But don't you dare just drive off and forget about it, because there's a fork in the road right here, and which way it goes tells you everything. Let the car run for a minute, then disconnect the jump pack or the cables. Now watch. If the car keeps running fine on its own, your battery was the culprit. It's old, it's tired, it's worn out, and it's simply time for a new one. But if you disconnect that jump and the car sputters and dies again a minute later, that is not your battery. That's your alternator, the part whose whole job is to charge the battery while you drive. If it's not doing its job, the battery just slowly drains until the car dies. You see that? One tiny test, disconnecting a cable, and you just split my car won't start into two totally different problems and two totally different price tags. And here's a free tip on top of a free tip. Most parts stores will test both your battery and your alternator for you right there in the parking lot, absolutely free. So you never ever have to guess, and you never have to take a stranger's word for it. Now here's a trick that feels like actual magic and it costs you nothing. And this one's a personal favorite of mine because of the look on people's faces when it works. If your car won't start, before you let anyone blame the starter, try this. Put your foot on the brake and shift the car into neutral, not park, neutral, and try to start it right there. Go ahead. And if it suddenly fires up in neutral when it flat out refused to in park, let me tell you what that is, because it is not your starter and it is not expensive. That's a little part called the neutral safety switch. And all it does is tell the car, hey, you're in park or neutral, it's safe to start. When it gets old or confused, it stops recognizing park, so the car plays dead. But it'll still start in neutral. That's it. That's the whole problem. And knowing that one trick can turn a $200 tow into a 5-second fix in a parking lot. So always try neutral. Write it on your hand if you have to, And now here's the 2-second trick I promised you at the very start. The one I used on a guy stranded on the shoulder of a highway last summer with his family in the car and a tow quote that would have ruined his week. If you've got that single heavy clunk and you're pretty sure it really is the starter this time, try this one thing before you give up and make the call. Have somebody sit in the driver's seat and hold the key in the start position turned all the way like they're trying to start it. While they hold it there, you get down and find the starter. It's usually a cylinder-shaped part down low where the engine meets the transmission. Now, with them still holding that key, take a wrench or a hammer and give that starter a few firm taps. Not a beating. Don't go swinging like you're mad at it. Just a few solid, deliberate knocks and listen. Because if that engine suddenly roars to life, the instant you tap it, there's your answer. Your starter's got a worn out dead spot on the inside and that little tap just jarred it right past it. Now I'll be straight with you because I always am. That's a temporary fix. That starter's on its way out and you'll want to replace it before long. But that tap can get you off the side of the road, out of the rain, into a shop on your own terms and your own schedule instead of white knuckling it on the back of a flatbed and paying for the privilege. That one little trick has rescued more stranded drivers than I could ever count. That's the one that made that dad on the highway shake my hand like I'd saved his life. Let me pull this whole thing together because I promise you it's not complicated once you know how to listen. Rapid clicking, dim lights, or dead silence. That's your battery or your connections. Go clean those terminals first. It's free. Then test it with a jump. Jump it and it keeps running. You've got a bad battery. Jump it and it dies again. You've got a bad alternator. Car won't start in park. Try it in neutral because it just might be that safety switch playing games and one heavy clunk with a starter you really suspect. Tap it and it just might carry you home. And I want you to notice what's sitting at the very bottom of that whole list, actually replacing the starter. It's the last thing you check, not the first thing you pay for, but funny how it's always the first thing they quote you, isn't it? And that right there is the whole point of everything I do. A dead car in the driveway feels like a disaster. It feels expensive, it feels scary, and worst of all, it feels helpless, like you're at the mercy of whoever shows up. And let me tell you something, because I've watched it happen 100 times. That helpless feeling is exactly what gets people talked into a $500 repair they never needed. Fear is the most expensive thing you can carry in your pocket at a repair shop. But 9 times out of 10, it was a crusty terminal, a tired battery, or a little switch that got confused. And the moment you can walk up to your own car, turn the key, listen, and actually understand what it's telling you, that panic just disappears. And so does anybody's chance of taking you for a ride. That's what I gave Diane in that parking lot. Not a repair. I gave her the feeling that she was never going to be somebody's easy target again. And that's what I want to give you. Everything I just walked you through, plus every other wait, is this a ripoff fix for your entire car, is sitting in that guide down in the description and the pinned comment if you want it all in one place in your pocket. Now, do me one favor before you go hit that like button. If this just handed you a plan for the next time your car won't start, it genuinely, truly helps this reach the next person standing in a driveway right now, panicking, about to overpay. You could be the reason they don't. And tell me 2 things down in the comments. First, when your car won't start, what sound does it actually make? The fast machine gun clicking, the one heavy clunk, or that dead silence? Tell me and I'll help you read it myself. And second, what should I show you next? How to replace that starter yourself when it finally does give out, or how to test an alternator right in your own driveway. You pick it, I'll build it for you. And subscribe, because I've got a whole garage full of these coming. The cheap fixes, the honest tests, and the truth the shop would honestly rather I keep to myself. Thank you for trusting me. And thank you for hanging in with me all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next one.